I didn't even put my oils on. What in the world? Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. The sun is actually now coming out. It rained overnight here. So Friday, I dubbed this Family Friday, even though my family is off at school and then they're going away for the weekend, and it's just gonna be me. But Family Friday is more than just my family. And what I've been focusing a lot about is the Invincible Family Project. So if you don't know me already, I am Jill Castelli, and I help moms kind of jump out of Groundhog Day and live a life they love for their kids, but with them. So we kind of do this together. And the Invincible Family Project is so like right up my alley about just where I desire my life to go. And I have a D here today, D Castelli, right? I'm saying that right? Okay.
Yep.
And look, D and I met through the Home-Based Revolution with Martha Craigie, and we are both a part of the Invincible Family Project book. And I actually have it with me. Woo, physical copy of the book. And here is Dee's story. Oh, but you can't read it. You'll learn a little bit more about Dee today. And there is like a little bio. I added some details in the description of this video, so you can hit her website, learn a little bit more about her. But so we met through this, and we haven't got to know each other too well, but I feel like I know you so well through literally reading your chapter. And we were just talking before this that I was like, oh, that's me, that she is me. Like, and I feel like that's a lot about a lot of people when they're reading this are going to feel that with more than one author in here. I feel like. Yeah. But I thought if you want to start, just maybe share a little bit about you and why we're here together.
Yeah, that book was amazing. And Jill, I loved your chapter. I aligned too with a lot of what you were saying, especially with the Groundhog Day, because it feels like that sometimes. But so my name is Dee. I met Jill and so many other wonderful people through that project and getting to know the different ones and their story and their journey. It's so inspiring to know that others have been through similar things and then what worked for them. So Jill and I, we were just talking about, we had a work life, a corporate life, and my story is I could handle that just fine, right? I could do the work and be strong there, but it was with other relationships that I would crumble. And so my chapter is about my journey and how I found my gentle voice and how I learned how to do gentle boundaries and empowered growth and emotional healing. So that's my story in a nutshell.
And I just got the chills because, I mean, as we were just talking, like I can relate to that so much. And I think one of the big things that you were talking about is just knowing like how sensitive, like you are a very sensitive person and all of this, but sometimes growing up felt like there was something wrong with you.
Yeah. Right? Well, we probably have all heard at one time or another, you're too sensitive, or gotten that message in some form, because as children, we naturally emote. We naturally are in tune with our feelings. We know when we feel sad. We know when we feel angry. We know when we're afraid. Those are, the basic emotions. And we know when we're happy. There's 4 that you teach toddlers. But, through life, we learn to suppress some of those. And in my case, I learned to suppress all of them except for happy. But because our emotions are such beautiful, beautiful gifts, and we don't always appreciate that. And that's not always the message that we receive, the gift in these emotions and what they have to offer us.
Oh, I literally am just getting chills everywhere because I know there's going to be so many people that will read your story and that will listen to this right now and say, oh my gosh, me too. Because I've done the same thing. Like how often I was just like, I'm just happy. I'm just happy. I can keep
Mhm.
going, and I should just be able to do this all.
Yeah.
I can do this all. I'm strong.
Yeah.
And then you just put on this phase. And then no wonder why so many of us could use lots and lots and lots of emotional
Mhm.
healing and spiritual healing and all these other things, because we push ourselves, so much of ourselves, down.
Yeah. And then the result of that, like you and I were talking too, is the impact to our physical health, the joint pain, the gut issues, the whole everything, all of the physical manifestation of that. We stuff it down. It has no place to go.
Right.
So yeah, it gets stuck.
Yeah. And there, oh, just now, and I'm thinking like, as a mom, I will catch myself even
Yeah.
doing those things to my children, even though I know better. But I'll be like, I will stop myself. I'll start saying, like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. You're fine. Right. When they're
Yeah.
like getting really upset. And then I'll like catch myself and I'll say, oh, feel your feelings. All of your feelings are okay. Like, and I'll like kind of backtrack, right, and be like, oh my gosh, why did I just do that? And I'll say, all of your feelings are okay. I said, what's not okay is being mean. I said, I want you to feel your feelings, but then I'm just like, okay, because he's yelling or punching or kicking or whatever, but they're children,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I
And
feel like what you're saying too is I see people becoming more aware and doing this for their children. But then what about us? This is like new and sort of the in thing to be in touch with your emotions. But when I started my journey 30 years ago, and then when I amped it up 10 years ago, there was nothing.
yeah,
We were still back in those times where you just stuff it down and plow through life. And, so how do we get rid of all of that that's stuck in our head too, that um, self-correcting, that stuffing it down, that programming that's in our head?
yeah, it's all like subconscious programming that we just do because that's what we know,
Yeah.
right? Or how
Yeah.
we've grown up, what we've been told by society, and all
Mhm.
of these things. And then, like you said, like for me, my whole kind of premise initially for doing my own personal healing was really so that I could be a better mom. And so my kids would not hopefully have to do the same amount of healing
Mhm.
that I've been doing. Right. But
Right.
then I'm like, during that process, I was like, okay, but when I'm actually truly happy and when I'm feeling my feelings and I'm doing all the work for me, I'm actually better for them. So it all
Mm.
starts with us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so that might have been my initial, and that is my hope still. Like, I
Yeah.
desire them to have a better life. I'm a mom. That's what I desire. But the energy of this world, like you and I are connected here. Like
Yeah.
we are connected through this book, through our
Mhm.
conversation. And when we do the healing for ourselves and we fully feel our emotions and we do all these things, we are lifting ourselves up, which in turn lifts up each other. It's a whole broader thing where actually by putting ourselves first and doing the self-care and doing the healing, we are actually better and we're bettering the world ultimately.
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
well, you can't give to people something you don't have.
yes, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Um, so let's talk a little bit about, if you don't mind. Obviously, don't give away too much of the chapter because people want to read it. But we were talking about how we met through the home-based revolution,
Mhm.
and through this book, and we are getting to know each other. What what does the Invincible Family Project mean to you?
Well, when when all of everything hit last year in 2020, we had to shift and pivot, and trying to figure out how to do that was a real challenge for us, because both of our work that my husband and I both did was hands-on, face to face.
Mhm.
And so then what when that's not possible? And so we had to find a way to make it work. And so I came across some YouTube videos. I was doing this and doing that and doing this and trying that for about 6 months. And I was like slowly just grinding to a halt, not only my business, but mentally and emotionally as well. And then so I came across the YouTube videos of Martha's and I was like, she makes a lot of sense. It made sense to me. And so then I joined the Home Based Revolution, HBR, and I started right away, doing all the things that it said. And it was like, it started to click. And within a few days, I told my husband, I know what you could do because he's a musician. And, he wasn't a musician when things changed in 2020, but he is a musician. And I got some ideas for him. I got some ideas for me. And then on top of that, the bonus was the emotional healing that I experienced myself because of being in Martha's universe, the Marthaverse that we call it.
Yep.
um, I came across people who had traveled a similar journey, but had solutions that helped me emotionally. And then I was like, I had to use this now to bring it into what I offer. And then I needed to offer it to people because it helped me so, so much. I was like, I can't not share this with the world. I got to tell everybody about this. So that's how I wound up sealing the deal on my years of healing that I had done and done and done 30 years and then the 10-year mark. And so it was like, then I came across this, these other few things and I just incorporated that. And that's how I started offering what I offer. So
I love that because and again I can relate. Again, there's a lot of Me Too's like throughout all of these stories and everyone that I've met through the Home Based Revolution and all 27. There's like Me Too's at least in a piece of everyone's story. I feel like for me, and I was very much in a similar situation where I was like in person. The things I did were in person, and that's like what I knew, and that's what I enjoyed, and that's what I love is like that connection. And there was like such a massive pivot to be able to connect more with people in a virtual way because we were not, in person. And I was literally like scrolling through Facebook and found Martha. I had no history with her whatsoever and just kind of found her and found the Home Based Revolution. And if you all are interested in to know more about the Home Based Revolution, I will put a link in the comments after this too, because we've talked about it a few times, but it's all about business. And so the headline of this is Everyday Families Creating Hope for Their Future. So I feel like everything you were talking about is that hope. It was like finding hope for you and your husband for the future of where your businesses were going.
yeah, it took all the ideas that were over here and it was like, this is what you need to do. And it was like crystal clear.
Yeah, because you're not even if you're in the corporate world, to be honest, like even if you're in the corporate world, everything got flipped upside down, right? But for all of us entrepreneurs, right? And we're working with people and we're one-on-one. Okay, well, how can we, first of all, even if we now can still see people one-on-one in person again, because things have opened up, right? How are you able to broader help a larger community? Because everything you do is to serve others.
Yeah. And the day, like about 6 months or so in, and changing my business, and I started to get clients like from Hawaii, from Europe, and I was like, the day I realized I just went international, I was like, it blew my mind. I was
Right?
like, I can't go back to one-on-one. I live in a rural town. There's nothing here.
Right. I mean, one-on-one you probably like cherish those one-on-ones, like even that much more, like if you do see people in person, but there's just so much that we can do that you can do as an individual to truly, truly impact the world.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And your husband too, with music and helping the world through music is huge. If you don't mind just sharing, I don't want to keep you for too long. I feel like I could probably talk to you all day. if you wouldn't mind sharing, because I know, like, I did put a little bit in the comments, and you mentioned a little bit about like emotional healing and things like that. But share a little bit about like what you're doing to serve the world, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. So, my thing was I knew about boundaries and all sorts of things going back 30 years. I couldn't do them. Like I knew about them intellectually. And at work, like I said, at work, I was okay. But when it came to like personal relationships where I had an emotional investment in the relationship staying a relationship, I just was stuck in fear. So I couldn't actually do the boundaries in those relationships. I couldn't have healthy, normal limits. There was like no limit, no boundary, no end to what I would do. And I was exhausted, exhausted. I was not in control of my schedule. I was not in control of my life. I just took it as it come and plowed through. And, that's just the way my life was with those relationships. So I had to find a way to be able to, because I crashed. And like I said in the book, I crashed big time. And I had crashed into walls before in my life, but this was like a major crash.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to find a way to find my gentle voice. And so my journey, I found a way. It all had to do with me, internal, and aligning myself internally and being able to have the self-empowerment. And so that's why I talk so much about empowered growth, gentle boundaries, and emotional healing, because it was those three things that once that started to fall into place, everything cleared up. The mental struggles, the emotional struggles, the physical pains, the physical issues, my gut issues went away, my sleep issues went away, all of it went away. So
Amazing.
and it was that. So being able to emotionally balance and feel the feelings without letting them, escalate and stuffing them down. So how do you get that balance? So that's where, for people like me who are stuck in fear and they may know about boundaries, but they're just, I hear it all the time. Oh, I know about boundaries. I just can't do them. If that's you, I'm your person.
Like, you read all the books, you listen to all the podcasts, you do all the things, but then it's like, or you don't do the things, you learn all about it and you know all the things, right?
Mhm.
So when you're looking for someone, like, you can help with the taking action
Yeah.
and making some changes.
Mhm.
So you work like coaching. Do you do coaching stuff? I know you have courses.
Yep, I have
Um,
some courses. So if you're into self-paced, I have those. I have Aroma Freedom sessions one-on-one. So I'll work with you one-on-one. And then there's coaching sessions as well. So
Amazing.
um,
Aroma freedom is actually something that I have been into oils for years and years and years. But I had never done aroma freedom until HBR.
yes,
And that has been, I literally have my AFT oils like right from
very good,
on
very
my
good.
desk, like at all times, right? But aroma freedom, like, there is something to it.
So what happened with that was I had actually been doing Aroma Freedom group sessions, joining them with other people for like 3 years. So I knew of it, but I
Yeah.
never had a one-on-one. And so I would do the group sessions occasionally over the years because I used oils, you run into
Yeah.
this. But when I had my one-on-one, and I found an Aroma Freedom practitioner through Martha and the HBR program, but that one-on-one changed my life because the memories that were stuck, keeping me in that fear, it was like released. It was surrendered. It was, the emotion was not connected to that memory anymore, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that at the time. It didn't really hit me until I had the one-on-one. So that changed my life. And then it was like, then I needed to get my certification.
There you go. Yeah. And people, I don't, so many people don't realize, because like you said, even though you've like known of it and you've been around oils for a long time and things, you don't truly, you didn't truly know the impact, right?
Mhm.
That something like that could have, which is so cool. So now you, I mean, HBR has brought a lot of goodness to everyone involved with it. I know this. And that's one of the big things. And I think it's, there's truly empowered growth going on. And there's, unlocking the subconscious stuff that's happening and healing through these things. There's a lot to it for everyone. And yeah, it's literally creating hope. I mean, that's why I'm involved in this project. I
Mhm.
know that's why you are. It's
Mhm.
truly inspiring and like instilling hope
Mhm.
for our futures, for our healing. It's connecting us with people such as you who can coach us and help us. And, everyone, we can relate to all our stories, but everyone's just so different. And
Yeah.
that's what's just, I think, so cool about it is it's community, it's collaboration, it's all the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
To help us and our families
Yeah.
create lives we love, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been awesome talking with you today. Um, is there anything else you'd like to share? I know you have like a course coming up, I think, or something, a program coming up. I don't know if there's anything else you specifically would like to share um, with the audience, or have any kind of last words or.
Yeah, there's a lot available on my website. And if any of what I said aligns with you, I would love for you to visit, poke around. I have a course called Bulletproof Boundaries, and I have a 21-day challenge as well that helps you align your internal, and it works on all of that internal stuff. But then the two of those sort of lead to the bigger picture
Yeah,
of the entire journey, because this new course is okay. So now I got my internal voice right, I got all of that, and I know about the internal boundaries. And now that I have that, what I never separated my internal voice. I don't know who I am, what I like, what I want to be when I grow up.
yeah.
And
Oh, I know that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So now that you got all of that, now what? How do you can't recreate your life or return to something you never had because you
yeah,
never defined it from
yeah.
childhood. So that new course is going to be for that. So okay.
Cool. Putting the pieces together and figuring it out.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
love it. So I did put a link to your website in the description.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, if anyone has, if this resonates, check D out. Obviously, I put a link to the book, of course, as well. So if this conversation just kind of lights you up, and if you're feeling it, go for it. Grab the book. We would obviously love the support, but if not, no biggie, obviously. And yeah, it was really so amazing talking with you today. And yeah, I hope you have an awesome day.
Thank you, Jill. It was so great talking to you too. And thank you
You
so
too.
much.
Oh, absolutely. Take care.
Bye.